Good morning. It's Sunday. Listening to Mrs. Clinton. I think I've heard enough. She's 10,000 times the man that Donald Trump will ever be. Not to mention that the ugliest part of her body, I'm sure, is 10,000 times more attractive than that ugly puss of Donald Trump's. For his suggestion to say that Carly Fiorina is too unattractive to be president is ridiculous. The Trump dumpers are stinking up the race. You're making me sick. Nobody that supports Donald Trump, none of the Trump dumpers are part of my conversation. I'll stop talking about it. I'm done with you guys. I'm done with this discussion. I'm for Bernie Sanders 100% for a million reasons. Mrs. Clinton would be 10,000 times a better leader of the free world than Donald Trump any day of the week. And I say here and now, goodbye to the country of my birth if Donald Dump stinks up the White House. This man is human feces. What we need to ask ourselves is Donald Trump stupider than a 7th grader? Or, more politically correct, just like the show, is a 7th grader smarter than Donald Trump? And I think we can find a 7th grader every day that is smarter than Donald Trump. Put it on the air. Either way, it's Mrs. Clinton. I can't believe it, but she made me not scared a little bit. And I don't scare easy, but I've been scared because this beautiful interwebby thing makes everything so great and easy, but it also makes a whole new threat, a whole new problem. And we need a smart person. That's why we have Mrs. Clinton or Senator Sanders. I go for Bernie Sanders. I have my reasons. Edward Snowden, Chelsea Manning, Julian Assange, WikiLeaks. There's a whole new revolution on into the future, non-violent, non-disruptive revolution for human rights, for personal rights. And that's not going to end because of this election, and no election, no single election will ever stop it. We'll always be fighting to free ourselves of the bonds of human slavery, period. But I'd rather have Mrs. Clinton 10,000 times over anything like a Donald Dump, anybody connected to the Republican Party, period. They're all criminals. They went to Washington, and for 4 years, instead of governing, they put a protest on. We're not going to do what the black guy says, and that's it. Well, he's been the best president. President Obama, you have done an incredible job. I don't have the understanding to have accomplished all the individual technical skills that it took to accomplish the job, and separately, the overall big picture that any of us can see. You've been incredible. Not one president ever had the tiniest little bit of a head fake compared to yours. You've been incredible. And these idiots that won't listen to you, that won't let you govern, they're like the police turning their backs in New York City on the civilian leadership. That's what we can't have. We have order because we have a government. Without the government, believe me, we would be overrun by people. And these kids might see an environmental overrunning of people. Let's not talk about that this time. We don't have a choice. We need to put Mrs. Clinton in no matter what. Bernie, 2016. He can begin our revolution. And Mrs. Clinton can preserve our revolution and preserve our union at the same time. And so can Bernie. I trust them once again. Finally, I trust this experienced, intelligent grandmother who happens to understand so much more than myself about how the government is run, all the things that have to be done, all the management skills necessary, as well as Bernie Sanders, his level of understanding. So my opinion is tiny compared to theirs. But I would let them fight it out, and my choice would always be Bernie. I am so happy that Mrs. Clinton that Secretary Clinton is there as a bulwark against Donald Dump the Nazi stinking up the White House and having his hands on the nuclear football. That's it. I'm not going to freak out about the rest. I'll talk to you kids about the environment as the time goes by. That's what I care about. That's what I can understand. And right now, they're at the nuclear conference over in France. They're really giving it a shot. But, hey, the environment is the only issue for you kids. Trust me. Believe me, I don't want anything from you. I don't want you to follow me or send me any dollars, or I'm just telling you, everybody under 40, you're going to see the world end, or you're going to stop the world from ending, period, end of story. The environment has to be dealt with. The poisoning of the environment by burning things in internal combustion, which includes plutonium, coal, natural gas, oil. None of that can go on. No matter what, we can't talk about that right now. In 2016, we have to elect Mrs. Clinton or Senator Sanders and put them in the White House to defend against the criminal Republicans who for 4 years have hijacked the legislature and put on a protest because the president was black. And if you don't think that's the reason why, you don't have intellectual honesty. Because if you're intellectually honest and you just think about it as a person, as a citizen, as a cartoon watcher who barely understands how to open the door and get outside and get to the store and get home, you don't have to be brilliant to understand. Because that's what we're not. Everything the Republicans are doing, using racism as a reason why they're not going to listen to the president. Period. That's all they did. They just said automatically, we're just not going to do anything. Shut down. That's why we got Ebola. That's why the NRA made the strides it has and gave us these killings, these shootings. Every Islamic shooting, every white power shooting, every domestic shooting, every gang shooting, they're all courtesy of the NRA, of the Republican Party. Thank you very much. A lot of them we could have stopped if we just had common sense gun control. 100% background checks. Every single person that buys a gun has to have a background check, period. That's all. The rest of it, of course, I can't understand why you need an assault rifle, but hey, if yours is so small you need that one that big, that's it. Whatever you want. You can have that argument. But on the other hand, you can't say we're not going to have an argument like this crazy Sakosha here in Rhode Island. No matter what, everybody gets a gun. And then they say, well, but you can take them away for that, you can take them away for this. But no, you can't take them away for everything. Listen, they're not making sensible arguments. These Second Amendment people, they are gun molesters. They are gunophiles like pedophiles, okay? Unlike pedophiles, we have to leave them alone in their homes to do what they want with their 6,000 guns. And let it make them feel however they want to feel. I don't think they should be able to have more than one. I think everybody should have a gun. Every household should probably have a gun. I don't even know. That's just, as far as I'm concerned, the Second Amendment is as sacrosanct as the rest of the Constitution. We shouldn't touch any of it. Just as a small, little citizen's opinion. But that doesn't mean that the government can't say who gets to have a gun. End of story. We either let the government keep us safe, or we have to do it ourselves. And man, this is a crazy, dangerous world, and we can't. We need them. So, thank you, Secretary Clinton. Thank you, Senator Sanders. One way or another, I'm voting Democrat in 2016. And if you don't, you're part of the protest that gave us Ebola, that scares us with the measles outbreak, that brings us all these Islamic, white power, and domestic shootings and gang shootings. That's who the Republican Party is. They're bringing us this violence and confusion, and they want war so their 1% friends, the military-industrial mafia, can make money off it. Period. That's all they are. The Republican Party isn't the Republican Party. They're being a right-wing militia. So any Democrat, meaning Secretary Clinton, Senator Sanders, either one would be 10,000 times better at doing the complicated job of being President of the United States than Donald Dump. You Trump dumpers are not part of my country, and I won't have any discussion with you. See you guys. Good luck.